part is that my little fuzzy thing has disappeared. It really didn't disappear. I really misplaced it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about astrology and some things that I recognized with this new moon energy. So fascinating to me. So, walk with me for a minute while there it is, I found it. Look for my fuzzy thing. There's a specific name for it, but I don't have it at the current moment. So, thank you for your patience with me. Like the live if you enjoy the content. Subscribe. All the good things. So, I've been posting some videos. Alex, what's good? Welcome in. Hope you're feeling the energy. This potent energy. I'm going to explain a little bit because everybody's been talking about this new moon energy. New moon in Taurus, how special it is. I've even been posting some videos, like remixing some of the videos because I agree with what people are saying about this new moon energy, even though it's already passed. Walk with me a little bit here. Walk with me. So, it's a lot going on in my mind. Hang on a second, I'm gonna close this door so my daughter doesn't wake up. Okay, now I'm completely trapped in here. Willingly. So this new moon energy is first and foremost, the new moon in Taurus is miraculous. It's every single year. It's miraculous. Every single new moon is miraculous. Every moment is miraculous. The present moment is the most miraculous. However, I was looking at how Taurus is the zodiac sign that has to do with values, and it has to do with possessions, like material worth, right? Like the body, the most worthy thing that there is in your life is you, in the flesh that you're borrowing. We're all borrowed. We're on borrowed property. This flesh here, it withers and transitions. When the heart stops, it withers and transitions every 11 months. I think that there's completely new cells in the body. So like let's keep that into context, right? Let's put this into context here. So Taurus, we're talking about Taurus. How it's the sign of manifestation. How it's the sign of values. So interesting to me. It's an earth sign, so it's actually a material thing. Now, right across the street, or in opposition, is Scorpio. And Scorpio is a water sign. So this whole water and earth, not for nothing and for something, go digress a little bit into the ancient scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Bible. It talks, using it as a reference point, it talks about how man was made from the dust. Dust, dirt, earth, right? Taurus, earth sign, I don't know. Just putting things together a little bit, right? So I find that to be fascinating with how important the flesh is. And this new moon energy, because the sun and the moon come together in the sign of Taurus to pulsate, like it's like a mini pulse, a vibratory pulse in the sign of Taurus, essentially to bring about the archetypes of the zodiac sign, and we see that in nature, reflective, like the reflective mirror of the macrocosm, microcosm. We see the leaves on the trees, they start budding for those in the northern latitudes I'm speaking of, right? Um, so that's significant for this time. It's the middle of spring. It denotes the middle, the midst. We're in the midst of it. And that's also significant when you're in the middle of something. You got energy on both sides of spring, the beginning of spring, the ending of spring, but the middle of spring, which is where the worth and the value, the true worth and the value of the fixed signs is the manifestation point, if you will. Fascinating to me when you really look at it, when you really dig into it. So, the new moon in Taurus. With the new moon in Taurus, um, we focus on possessions. Now, if we look at the planetary rulership, each zodiac sign has a planetary ruler, and Taurus's planetary ruler is Venus. And so this is one feature and reason why I think that the new moon is so powerful. This one is powerful, like others with this same signature, is because the new moon in Taurus, right, highlights Venus, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. And Venus is situated, at the time that the new moon occurred, Venus was situated in Pisces. I want to show this thing here. Even though this is a chart of the current moment, this is after the new moon. The moon is now in Gemini at 9 degrees, right? 2 days ago, or was it 2 days ago, the moon was new, but we still have the planet Venus in Pisces at 29 degrees, just to give you an idea. So that there is a feature because Venus is exalted in Pisces. So with the new moon in Taurus, uh, touching upon values and manifestation and your self-worth and your value, right? All your values and your possessions and things of this nature. It's like, I've heard some of these videos, they talk about, oh, it's like the universe listens to your whispers. And I was like, whispers. Interesting. Pisces, right? Pisces is the sign of secrecy. Shh. Whisper, hey, what do you want? Oh, I want to manifest this. I want this job. I want this. Long story short, I think, from my perspective, I think it's a great time to align your prayers, your visions, your beliefs with the mirror, the macrocosm, microcosm. And the energy is still present right now, even as we speak. It's still present because Venus is still in Pisces. I think today it's over. Not for nothing. But the energy is still there. There's other things too. There's more. But I think this is one of the features and reasons why they've been saying, or some of the posts have been talking about how powerful this new moon is, because the sun in Taurus accentuates and highlights Venus in Pisces. And Venus is exalted in Pisces. Not only that, but Venus is exalted in the 27th, 28th degree of Pisces. Some schools have thought it's 29, but 27, 28, and 29 are the exalted degrees that Venus is. It does the best at these degrees. And that's where Venus was while the moon was new in Taurus. Significant, dynamic, right? And so I started looking at this chart of the new moon here even a little bit closer, because geometry is really a thing when it comes to the astrological chart. And the geometry, in essence, is another way in which to say the aspects between the planets. So I want to bring your attention to this aspect in the chart here. I pronunciated it a little bit. Well, let's go to here. I pronunciated it here. It looks like a rectangle here. And if we zoom out now, you can see that it involves, what does it involve? It involves the planet Juno, the asteroid Juno in Scorpio. It involves the south node in Virgo. It involves the north node, Saturn, Venus. Here it looks like this cluster of planets, if you look. and it also involves Uranus or Uranus. I say Uranus. And a couple of days ago, there was the new moon, and then the moon aligned with Uranus here, right? Making this rectangle even stronger. And this rectangle, if you will, if you look and do a little research, um, it's an aspect called a Magi quad. Now walk with me. Magi quads are aspects from this society called Magi Society. There's a video on YouTube. Check it out. Look up Magi Society, and you'll begin to see, if you do the reading and research, you'll get to dig and finding that there's certain geometric shapes and or aspects in the astrological chart that create these moments in life where you're able to pinpoint to see, like, oh, there's an opportunity for this, an opportunity for that. Similar to in the biblical scripture, using it as a reference point, it says there's a time and place and a season for everything, a time and season for everything, right? So I think that's significant. So I wanted to share this, or I'm sharing this to say that it's a perfect opportunity to watch your thoughts. It's a perfect opportunity to intend with, have intention with your action and your motivations and whatnot at this time, right? Um, because of this geometric shape that's happening, it's a rectangle. Call it many things, but it's a Magi quad. It's considered a Magi quad. It involves Taurus, where the new moon was. It involves Pisces. Pisces and Taurus, they work well together. And it involves Virgo, and it involves Scorpio dynamic. So what do we do with this information? Well, we plug these pieces of information into your chart. Where do you have Pisces? Where do you have Taurus? Where do you have Virgo? Where do you have Scorpio? And these areas are highlighted a little bit, and there's some magical stuff going on there, right? If you're a Scorpio rising, then it has to do with your ascendant, your friends, has to do with your partnerships, and it has to do with your creativity. Right, so you want to assess this. This is what I'm saying. So everybody's been talking about how special this new moon is. Oh, new moon is special. New moon is why? Why? Well, Venus is exalted in Pisces, and during the new moon, Venus was in Pisces at its exalted degree. One reason. Another reason is that this new moon, after the new moon, when the moon aligned with Uranus, it created an exact aspect. The degrees were similar. Venus was at 28. The moon and Uranus were at 24. It's close, 28, 24. The south node was at 26. The north node was at 26. We got 26, 24, 28. And Juno over here was at, looks like 27. So we got 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Like those numbers are close, and it creates this rectangle. Not for nothing and for something at the same time. Taurus is the zodiac sign of money and values. Venus is the planet that rules Taurus, and Venus is exalted in Pisces. And during the new moon in Taurus, and with Venus exalted in Pisces at its exalted degree, there was a Magi quad, a geometric shape that was a rectangle. Now, what dimension is a rectangle? We got blocks, city blocks, especially in the New York City. We got city blocks that are rectangles. We also have rectangles when it comes to Federal Reserve notes. Fiat is in a rectangular shape. So all I'm saying, or what I'm recognizing, is that to be in alignment, right, with your thoughts, your beliefs, with shapes, and have these things reoccurring as opposed to petty miscellaneous things that don't serve you. So astrology can be utilized as a tool for that. But it does change social values. I have a little note here of what this actually does. Um, I usually feel like I have to do freestyle when I'm talking on live, that I can't like look at my notes. But damn, man, I'm looking at my notes because I took notes. You know, I love this stuff. Nerded out with this astrology stuff and been doing it over 2 decades, unraveling the intricacies of the astrological chart. And I'm wondering, helping people unravel the intricacies of the astrological chart. And I'm wondering why people are not talking about this Magi quad, or they're not talking about this exaltation of Venus and Pisces. It's almost over now. You better get in where you fit in. You heard me. You heard me. So let me talk about this real quick. I want to read this. I'm gonna read it. All right. So I put, um, I have an assistant. I was telling my assistant, yo, help me out with this, right? Um, so a transit magi quad interpretation is what this is. Stay tapped in. You're going to want to hear this till the end. It's almost done. Right? Short and sweet. Transit Magi Quad interpretation. You are currently being called into a major cycle of emotional liberation. One, right? Emotional, moon, liberation, Uranus in Taurus. The moon's in Gemini now. So I'm talking about when with the new moon. The new moon occurred at 7 degrees. A day later, a day and some change later, the moon aligned with Uranus. That's liberation. It changes social values. Yes, to answer your question. The moon Uranus is emotional liberation. The moon emotion liberation Uranus. Soul mission activation. North Node and Ceres. If you look here, I know my screen is acting up a little bit here. Um, is that going to be a little better? No, it's not. It's worse. Um, Ceres is here in Pisces. You can't see it. It's not even in the chart, but in this sector right over here, I'm covering it. But the North Node, it looks like a horseshoe. See it? It's the North Node, it looks like a horseshoe, and then Saturn. See it? But before the North Node is Ceres. We'll show that in a short video. Pardon me for not having that up there, but that's where I'm at. Ba-da-bop. Um, so the North Node and Ceres together. Ceres is an asteroid and it symbolizes significant for like nurturing. The North Node symbolizes one's purpose and the mission. So the mission to serve, right? The mission to provide a service and nurture, right? This is a mission the activation of caring for others, essentially with empathy because Pisces is an empathetic sign, right? Boom. Soul mission activation, North Node and Ceres. Karmic relationship tests, right? Juno is here, right, in Scorpio, in restructuring how we love and commit. Saturn and Venus over here. Now they say love because Scorpio, right? The Scorpio code has Pisces in the fifth. So this is why they're talking about karmic relationship test. Any Scorpios in here? Any Pisces? Anybody who has Venus in Scorpio? Anybody who has Venus in Pisces? Anybody who has Saturn in Pisces? Anybody who has Saturn and Venus in Pisces? Anybody who has Venus in Scorpio? Anybody who has Saturn and Venus in Scorpio? Like these combinations are highlighted even more. And if you have planets in Virgo, Scorpio, Pisces, or Taurus, also impacted wherever you have these things. So your Pisces, yes, yes. So these things are activated. BS, possibly, Mr. Newman, possibly. You could be onto something, possibly, until you start tinkering with it. Until we get your birthday and we start tinkering with it, stay tapped in. You're here for a reason. Never know. Maybe you get a reading sometime, right? We'll do your chart free of charge for a beginner, for skeptics. Love skeptics. Okay? But now let's keep it going. Restructuring, karmic relationship test, and restructuring. Of how you love and commit, what you're willing to commit to. Saturn has a lot to do with commitments. Whether you believe in astrology or don't believe in astrology, you would be able to see this across the land or in your neighborhood or with the people that you know with commitment issues, right? Of course, it's happening all the time, but at a surprising, transformative level at the moment, all right? So this is a temporary but powerful activation. This is the reason why I even wanted to do this video is because it's a temporary wave. We're at the end of it, not for nothing, so I'm a little late. So pardon me, I'm working. I get better each and every day to look at these aspects and get a patterning of looking at aspects and sharing the information prior to the time that they happen and looking at the window. But we're in the present moment, so the time is now. So it is what it is. Powerful activation that asks you to evolve your emotional patterns, right? To control your emotions, your sudden feelings or awakenings about your needs for freedom, stability, and self worth, right? There's a need for evolution in that regard. Align more to your soul path, learning to nourish yourself and others in a more sustainable, destiny aligned way, and finding that balance, especially Pisces, right? Because Pisces, Libras have a tendency to give more and do for others more than they do for themselves. So it's a time and a need to check in, because you're going to want to give so much more, right? Deepen or dissolve soul contracts. Relationships are being tested, right? Only the ones rooted in true emotional intimacy will survive. Solidify spiritual structures. You may feel called to make serious, even lifelong commitments to new creative or spiritual goals. So goals are amazing. Goals are a thing that, and staying true to the goal, like revisiting it on a day to day, like creating this pattern. And that theme is strong and emphasized by Venus being so close to Saturn, right? This new moon in Taurus has this energy of like values. And then when we look and see how Venus, the planet that rules Taurus, is near Saturn, it has a lot to do with structuring. It adds in that structure, that stability, or being serious, and the solidification of one's pattern to reach one's financial goals. All right. So this energy is like a wave. If you ride it consciously, it upgrades your life. If you resist it unconsciously, it can feel heavy or chaotic. Right now, this Magi Quad is an invitation to pivot, evolve relationships, nurture your destiny, and free your emotional body from old stagnant patterns. And that's what it's mainly about. So, in short, you are in a time of, we are in a time of karmic upgrading in relationships, emotional freedom, and soul nourishment. Flow wisely, commit deeply where it counts, and free yourself where needed. If you like the video, like, subscribe, follow, and I'll see you in the next video. La da da da.